It being 5 p.m. Tuesday, June 29th, 2021. Welcome everyone to the virtual public meeting of the Town of Dedham Zoning Board of Appeals. This meeting of the Town of Dedham's Zoning Board of Appeals is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of the members of the public will be permitted, but every effort has and will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as required. Members of the public may access this virtual webinar by going to zoom.com, select Join a Meeting in the right-hand corner, and enter the meeting ID 919-7002-0615. In addition, members of the public may phone into the meeting by dialing 1-646-558-8656 and enter the meeting ID 919-7002-0615. With that, I'd like to do a roll call of the ZBA members present. I'm pleased to say present if you are participating in the Zoom webinar. Vice Chair Sarah Rosenthal.
Present.
Member Gregory Jacobson.
Present.
Jason Mamoni.
Present.
Tom Ryan.
Present.
Norm Vigil.
Present.
And Scott Steves, the chair. I am present. Having met a quorum of the ZBA in attendance, we will now proceed with tonight's agenda. The only item on today's ZBA agenda is a continued discussion by the board regarding a request for a special permit for a substance abuse treatment center at 259 Washington Street. I will recognize that the board is joined by attorney Jonathan Eichman from KP Law, who is the town's legal counsel. We may be joined shortly by Benjamin Ferraro, who is the applicant's legal representation. I don't see him on the call yet, but he might be joining us. Board members, I'd like to first ask if any members have any questions or comments regarding the proposed draft decision for consideration tonight provided by the planning director.
Mr. Chairman, Greg Jacobson here. I do.
Hey, Greg.
I thought we had agreed on the hours of operation would be 4 to 7, 2 days a week. And also on a Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I would make a recommendation for the Saturday timeframe would be no more than twice a month. And in Jeremy's conditions, he has it down as 12 to 6 p.m. during the week. So I'd be against that, and I'd like to see it 4 to 7, 2 days a week only.
Yeah, when it went back through, and Mr. Chair, if I may,
Please, yep.
I don't recall the board ever limiting it to 2 days a week or saying, I don't think that was a discussion. I could be wrong.
If you go back to some of the testimony that was presented, their attorney had stated that they would operate 2 days a week in that 4 to 7 frame.
I
Yeah.
actually have notes on this too. I wrote down at the time, the CEO said they will be starting with 2 days a week, 3 to 7 or 2 to 6. He didn't specify which, he just said 3 to 7 or 2 to 6. And possible Saturday morning, 9 to 12, but not after 1. And that was all that he stated.
And in the transcript, we have here, it's the chairman requested if any board members had any questions or comments. Mr. Ryan asked Attorney de Blasio to restate the proposed hour of operations. She responded that the intended hours would be 4 to 7 p.m., 2 days a week. And maybe an occasional Saturday morning. So I think we should,
Are you looking at old minutes, Greg?
I'm looking at the info you guys sent over.
The draft decision.
Yeah,
It's on page 5 of it. So what I recall the CEO telling us is that the medical professionals typically work a 4-hour shift. But it's really up to whoever they hire, and they won't hire someone until there's a location to actually hire for, so they won't actually know that shift. So I think the proposal of 12 to 6 gives them some flexibility of it could be a 12 to 4, or it could be like a 2 to 6.
So
So
I think you're,
So I would understand there being like a little bit of leeway from a 4-hour so that there's some flexibility. But I do see in that Attorney de Blasio had said 4 to 7 p.m. would be like an intention for 2 days a week to start.
Hold on, we got, I see the attorney just emailed me. Says he's waiting to be it. He's got the wrong meeting, so bear with me for a moment.
yeah, no problem. Yeah, everybody just hear that rumble of thunder that just came through?
Oh, yeah, sounds nice.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get a little rain.
Anything to cool off the 100 degrees outside.
You got that
I'll
right.
take.
Enough is enough.
Yeah.
And then I was looking at the weather forecast. It's gonna be in the 60s this weekend.
It makes no sense.
All right, he should be joining us shortly, but so going back for, I think there was a lot of, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the applicant they didn't have pinpointed hours, and that I think in the end, they said afternoons into early evening. And so that's why we kept it to allow this window.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think, Greg, that they intend to be open 12 to 6. I think the reason they made 12 to 6 is so they could find that 2 to 6, 3 to 7 opportunity, depending upon doctors that will work at the facility, if I remember correctly.
Well, what if they end up getting, that they can fill their schedule 12 to 6?
Can we just say a 4-hour window anytime between 12 and 6?
Good suggestion, Jason. So when someone makes the motion, the conditions, if you state it like that, that should cover that.
Good enough, thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Jason.
And as far as the Saturdays, that would have to be a request to them that,
Twice a month.
I don't think we ever had a discussion with them at the meeting last night that it would be, limited to only twice a month. So hopefully he's joining here soon. While we wait, and if I may, Mr. Chair, was there any other comments?
Yep. Any other comments from the members of the board? And I don't think
My
nobody.
recollections are similar to Sarah's. I think their objective was based on the availability of the position. We were looking at a 2 to 6 or a 3 to 7 panel. I think at least I had expressed some preference to a 2 to 6 panel. Then Saturdays were kind of left open. I don't think there was any thing beyond that 9 to 1.
Hopefully he'll be joining us soon. I'm a little surprised that there isn't anybody from the public here. I know it's live in Oakdale. I see Norman and Sarah, I'm like, it's right
Well,
over.
I couldn't tell if it was my children upstairs or thunder is the problem.
Well, I have no children, so it's
Right.
definitely.
So it's definitely thunder. Okay.
Come on, Benjamin.
I sent the wrong link, so that was my fault.
So he's having a conversation with another board.
No, he emailed me. He emailed. I don't know.
It's probably the damn planning board.
I don't know who he's having a conversation with. That would be weird.
I would guess he's talking to himself and it probably contains a lot of four-letter words.
Yeah. Why can't I get on?
That would be right.
We've all enjoyed those technical difficulties over the last 18 months, right?
Mhm.
It is a convenient way to get out of a meeting if you have to, though.
It is. I've had my phone tell me that I didn't have permission to join a meeting that I was the one that created. Like, why do I not have permission to join my own meeting? That makes no sense. So, no meeting.
All right, let me give him a call.
Just don't want to proceed. If he's trying to get on, I don't want to proceed without him. I see somebody coming on. They are muted.
Yes, I am. This is Ben Fierro.
Oh, excellent. Okay, welcome, Ben.
Thank you. But for some reason, I'm unable to zoom in.
Okay, Jeremy, maybe that same lock is on.
It says the host has another meeting in progress. Town of Dedham Zoning Board of Appeals.
All right, a little technical snafu.
And my client, Mr. Breyer, is attempting to do the same.
Did you use the link that I sent you, Mr. Fierro?
Yes, I did.
The meeting
All I did
ID?
Well, it doesn't ask for a meeting ID. I just pressed the link that was in the notice, in the official notice, the zoom.us J919, so on and so forth. I selected that link. It launched Zoom, opened it up, and then it has this message. The host has another meeting in progress. Town of Dedham Zoning Board of Appeals. It doesn't ask anywhere for a meeting ID.
What's going on?
Gotta be the weather.
Well, I guess while we got you on the horn, Mr. Chair, I don't know if you want to talk about what before he got on. We
Yeah,
can
just
talk.
a point of clarification, if we may. Greg, you asked the question. At the last meeting, would you recall the hours of operation? Do you remember that conversation? Can you tell us what your recollection of that conversation was?
Sure, of course. And I can try to find my notes. And Mr. Breyer, my client, has been attempting to zoom in to participate in this meeting. As we stated, we typically provide some hours on a Saturday morning for those who are working and can't come on a weekday. In the morning, we agreed to cease appointments at 1 o'clock. So we discussed from 9 to 1. No appointments on Sunday. And then, of course, we had a discussion about traffic in the area and agreed not to take appointments in the morning. And we discussed appointments in the afternoon to the early evening. In the draft condition sent to me by counsel or Jeremy, I believe it said 12 in the afternoon to 6 p.m. I don't recall, I'd have to find my notes if Mr. Breyer stated something differently. I do know that sometimes they do meet have appointments till 7, but I believe he was comfortable with the 6 o'clock.
So if we were to have a condition giving you a 4-hour window, would that satisfy you? Because I know you said you have to wait and see what physicians you can get.
Correct.
So I think the attempt was to give you a 4-hour window, either 3 to 7, 2 to 6, 2 days a week to start. And Saturdays, was it twice a month on Saturdays? Was it every Saturday 9 to 1?
Well, we would like the ability to schedule appointments every Saturday, and we would like the ability to take clients every afternoon. I think what Mr. Breyer was saying is that will all depend on really 2 factors: how many hours they are open for appointments. One factor is the ability to schedule a physician to work with their schedule to be there, and then secondly, obviously, the amount of demand there will be for these services.
Right.
So he anticipated that initially, based upon their other sites, that they would initially be only open for 2 days a week, or the Saturday and so on.
Right.
But that will depend upon, again, those other factors. But that was initially. But certainly in terms of a condition and the permit, we were looking for the ability to operate in the way that was set forth in the draft. which is again, our whole conversation regarding a condition to come back within 1 year and for a review of the permit by the board should, as the operation expands, if there are any issues with parking or noise or anything else, that the board could raise them, address them either through conditions, further conditions on the permit, or, you know, potentially, obviously, revoking the permit.
Right.
And the reason, again, that we were willing to accept such a condition is because they're confident that there would not be any problems. And I do wish that my client was participating in this. And again, he had texted me that he was trying to get into the meeting.
Okay. Greg,
If I can-
does that satisfy your
text
question?
him-
Well, again,
I'm sorry.
are they gonna be operating, actually 5 days a week and then on every Saturday also?
I believe that was their intention,
The potential to do that.
the potential
But
to
that
do that.
certainly will not be, that will certainly not be the case when they begin operations, because historically, that's not what happens. They're only able to book the time for, you know, a couple of days a week. If I can text my client and ask him to call in, if he
Sure.
could be admitted, at least he could participate in this conversation. I'm sure we're all, I assume everyone else is able to participate by Zoom video.
Yes.
So we're the only ones who are not in. That's a bit frustrating.
We initially had some trouble ourselves, but
Okay. So let's see here. And if you'll bear with me,
sure, no worries.
thank you.
Yeah, while we're here, I do remember the conversation about, you know, when they start up, Greg, that obviously they're not going to have a 7-day-a-week operation to start. That depending upon the need, right, and the availability of the physicians, that it will start out slowly, and then they'll respond to the need.
Gotcha.
Thank you. I've just texted Mr. Breyer, so hopefully he'll be calling in if you have more questions or need more clarifications from him.
Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So I'm looking at our agenda and I think we have 2 different links.
Uh-huh.
So our usual scheduled web ID, which is what we all logged into, is different than the meeting one. So guessing we're gonna have to reschedule this for
Okay,
the ultimate decision.
we can do that. And
Sorry for
when
the
do you want,
confusion on that. That's our fault or my fault.
when is everybody available to reschedule this?
So it would have to be, I'm guessing, we need 48 hours, so could do Friday.
Okay, is everybody available Friday at the same time, 5 o'clock?
Let's,
No can do.
Damn. Okay,
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
If these two, if the attorney and his client can get in by phone, that's If that's sufficient for them and for the board, certainly it's enough to conclude this tonight. I don't want to
Okay,
push this off to Friday just because they can't see us unless they
Yeah.
really think it's an obstacle,
the phone link works.
right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what about the public? They may be having the same problem.
I suppose that's possible. Jeremy, don't they have other, is that the only access they have is this particular link?
They have it by phone or this via this link, yes. And we have, for comments or technical issues, they can email us directly.
Does it post to Facebook automatically like some of the other boards? No.
No, we haven't been doing Facebook for ZBA,
Okay, that's what I thought.
so it's probably best.
Well, Jeremy, if I might,
Yeah,
Mr. Breyer texted me back that he has used the, he did use the call-in number, and he has them, and he is on hold, waiting to be admitted. Does he have to be admitted into the meeting?
yes, he does. No. So, yeah, it looks like there's a snafu on our part, so I feel like it's best that we need to continue this, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I
So-
mean, we can obviously, I mean, if there's anything else that needs to be ironed out, we can be discussed tonight, but otherwise, taking a motion on a decision is gonna have to be another night. That has 48 hours of, has to be posted for 48 hours.
Okay, we have to. Does, Greg, has your question been answered and you are satisfied?
Yes, but again, there could be some public input that we don't have. And I think it's only fair to postpone it so that the public can, have their say.
Sure, nope, absolutely. We're gonna do that. but
I know it's a pain because Friday is obviously long weekend. People are gonna be going away for vacation, et cetera.
Yep. We're gonna have to do it next week.
In
because-
fairness, we gotta, make it available to the public.
Understood. Okay, so hearing no other questions from members of the board, Greg's question has been answered and he's satisfied. I think we just want to do that while we have the attorney and we're all together.
Can I make one suggestion, Scott?
Sure, Tom.
Just as far as the agreement goes, after hearing Greg's concerns, would it be better to maybe change the language to basically have a little bit more specificity, and that you basically said something to the extent of that see a panel of patients for a 4-hour period between the hours of whether it's 12 and 6 or 1 and 7. So it basically states what the panel's going to be and what the availability of the time is. Just seems if you say 12 to 6, maybe you want to just address the fact that we wanted to see one panel of patients during that 6-hour window. Just a suggestion.
Okay, the applicant, are you okay with that amendment?
Well, again, I'm sorry, without, without my client on the phone, it's difficult for, I can't make a commitment. I'm sorry. I
Okay.
wish he was, I'm sure we could get this resolved immediately if he was with us.
Sure, we could. I'm sure we could.
We're trying to be as cooperative. I'm sure we could, but I just can't.
There looks to be another
Yeah,
phone
another
number
attendee.
on now.
Oh, we got somebody trying to get in. All right, let's try and get this done.
The 401 number, so that's Rhode Island, right?
Oh,
That's
here he is.
correct.
Okay, he is on mute though. Now he is not muted. Are you with us?
Now I am.
Excellent.
Ew.
I was thinking that a thunderstorm took out the Zoom or something.
No, not yet. It's coming, but not yet.
I didn't hear. I just managed to get on because I had the wrong webinar number before. So what was the question? Something about 12 to 6, 1 to 7?
Yes, what we're trying to establish is the window of operations. So we have 9 to 1 on Saturdays, and that's every Saturday. But during the week, we're trying to establish a 4-hour window during the week. 3 to 7, 2 to 6.
Usually it would be, well, it could be 2 to 6 or it could be 3 to 7. It would really depend upon whatever provider I manage to hire.
Mhm.
But if we could just say, I don't know, 2 to 7 and just leave it open. I mean, I'm not going to use the whole 5-hour window most likely, but I just don't know. I think we discussed this the last time, and I think what the board had said back to me was, well, if it was an hour off one way or the other, it's not a big deal as long as you're keeping to the ideal of what we're agreeing to, and you're not trying to, overstep your boundaries.
Okay.
And I think, and Michael, thank you. And so I think, I believe in the draft, it says 12 to 6.
Yes.
So, Michael, would you be comfortable with 2 to 7 to give that flexibility within that period
That would be perfectly fine.
instead of 12 to 6?
Yeah. I don't think we're going to start at 12 anyways. I would doubt that.
Okay. Greg, does that satisfy you?
Fine, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Any other questions from members of the board?
Can I ask one question?
Yes. Who's that? Norman?
There's Norman.
Yep.
When do you anticipate going from your starting of a couple days a week to 5 or 6 days a week?
Truthfully, I wouldn't think we would be that many days for at least a year, if not perhaps a little bit longer. I mean, that would be dependent upon what the needs really are of the area around. But just using Taunton, which would be my most recent one that's been longer, it's sort of on 4 days a week now after a year. And I don't see it going to a 5th day anytime soon. So I would think 3 days for sure within a year, maybe a 4th day within a year, but I'm not sure much beyond that. And the windows in Taunton are pretty small. Those are only 3-hour shifts.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Norman. Anybody else from the board? Okay. Also, I'll entertain a motion to reconsider the April 21st, 2021 vote of the board.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, motion by Greg. Is there a second?
Second,
Seconded by Sarah. So I'll do a roll call vote. Sarah, how do you vote?
yes.
Greg, how do you vote?
Yes.
Jason, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tom, how do you vote?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Okay, with the board voting unanimously to reconsider the April 21st, 2021 vote of the board, I will entertain a motion for the applicant's requested special permit.
Are we not going to reschedule or? do
No,
we-
we're not going to reschedule.
And do we have any public participation?
Jeremy is shaking his head no.
And could that possibly be due to the mix-up on the web ID?
Yes, folks can still call in, obviously, as we saw. But if the board feels that that's not enough, then I think it's up to the board to continue this to another date.
Could we possibly get an opinion from our town council if we'd be okay to go ahead and continue the meeting, or should we postpone?
Jonathan, what do you think?
Yes, Mr. Chair. If the problem is it's a little difficult to tell, it sounds like the opportunity is there based on the notice that was issued to call into the meeting. And that one would assume that anybody that has access to a computer has access to a phone and can do that. I guess what I'm not certain is if that call-in information that was given in the notice is the one that's been used to call in, or whether we've been using other call information. That I don't know. If we're using the information in the notice, then I think call-in is sufficient.
Yes, we are.
Okay,
And Counselor, I called in using the number that was in the posted notice,
okay.
even though the link for the video didn't work. But I had to be admitted.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
I know-
webinar. We have to, we admit anyone to talk.
And I
And you would-
presume Mr. Breyer, that he popped up and then he had to be admitted.
Okay, so I think we're covered, Greg, but that's a good point.
But thank you.
Okay, so having resolved that issue, I'll entertain a motion for the applicant's requested special permit.
Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion to approve the requested special permit by Recovery Connections Centers of America at 381 Wickerson Street in Providence, Rhode Island. The petitioner requests a special permit for a proposed 2,125 square foot substance abuse treatment clinic. The plus or minus 23,212 square foot property is located at 259 Washington Street, Dedham, Massachusetts. The motion to approve the special permit is based on the following findings. The board credits the testimony of the applicant and finds that adequate on-site parking is available to serve the facility, and that operation of the facility in the manner and at the level specified by the applicant would not negatively impact traffic flow or create increases in traffic volume during peak periods in surrounding areas. The operations of the facility will be conducted solely indoors in an office setting, and there will be no noise, odors, or unsightly appearance resulting therefrom. The facility is located more than 1,000 feet from any public or private kindergartens, elementary schools, or secondary schools. The board credits the testimony of the applicant concerning the urgent demand in the community and surrounding areas for the treatment provided, and finds that the facility would accordingly serve social, economic, or community needs intended for such a use as authorized by the zoning bylaws. The facility will be served by town water and sewer and otherwise has adequate access to utilities. The board credits the testimony of the applicant concerning the procedures for handling treatment drugs at the facility and the lack of danger posed by such drugs to the community at large, and accordingly finds that the facility would have no negative impacts on natural environment or neighborhood character and is expected to have a positive impact on social structures. The facility is a commercial operation in an existing office building and is accordingly expected to have positive impact on the town's tax base and employment. The motion to approve the special permit is subject to the following conditions. 1, the hours of operation for medical, counseling, clinical services shall be limited to a 4-hour shift within 1 p.m. to 7 p.m., correct, during the week and between the hours of 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. on Saturdays. No services shall be provided on Sunday. Administrative personnel are not subject to the limited hours of operation for medical, counseling, or clinical services. The second condition, 1 year after the issuance of the certificate of occupancy for the facility, the board will review the permit for compliance with the zoning bylaws and the permit conditions. At that time, the board will consider the effect of the use on the neighborhood, credible evidence that the applicant has not materially complied with applicable requirements, or the use of the treatment facility has resulted in material or substantial detriment to the lawful use of neighboring properties. Shall be grounds for termination of the special permit by vote of 4 members of the board. Upon presentation of such evidence, in lieu of termination, the board may impose such further conditions upon the use as are reasonably calculated to ensure future compliance and eliminate detriment to neighboring properties.
Thank you, Sarah. Is there a second? Tom?
I think we agreed that the hours of operation in the weekday would be 2 to 7, not 1
2
to
to
7.
7. Yep, you're right.
Okay, with that
That's why I
amendment,
questioned that. 2 to 7.
thank you, Tom. Yep, so with that amendment, is there a second?
Second,
Second, we'll say by Greg. I'll do roll call vote. Sarah, how do you vote?
Yes.
Greg, how do you vote?
Yes.
Jason, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tom, how do you vote?
yes.
And the chair votes yes. With the boards voting unanimously, the requested special permit for a substance abuse center is granted based on the conditions and findings stated and bound by the decision of the board. Thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate all your patience for this, and thank you for the applicant for their patience. And unless there's any other business, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
So move.
All right, Greg has made the motion. Is there a second?
Second,
Second, Jason. All right, Sarah, how do you vote?
Yes.
Greg, how do you vote?
Yes.
Jason, how do you vote?
yes.
Tom, how do you vote?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Happy 4th of July, everyone. Be safe.
Happy 4th.
Thank
You
you.
all.
Before,
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I know.
Tara, good job
you.
on that motion.
That was a long, Sarah.
I need water now.
See you.
See ya.